So recently, the Game Awards happened. And when I mean recently, I mean like a week ago. So, better late than never. And it was full of surprises here. The biggest surprise being that it was like 4 hours long and only 20 minutes of actual content. But I guess that isn't really much of a surprise. I mean, it's pretty much expected at this point. But if you've been living under a rock, don't worry, because I got the highlights for you. Because you see, I was actually there. Right around there. Don't question it. I was there. No, you don't gotta worry. And it started pretty typical. We got a bunch of commercials no one asked for. Final Fantasy VII got another trailer, which is nice. But then they started with the first award. The first award being Best Community. And I was surprised. I was really surprised when I saw Scriblio. Scriblio was on the list. I mean, it made sense. They have such a colorful community, and the devs are always quick to respond. But I did not expect them to be on this list or for this to happen.
And the winner is
Scriblio.
congratulations.
So after a few more shots and a few more commercials, we finally got to the next award, which was the best score. And I was like, Cadence of Hyrule or Devil May Cry is probably gonna win this one. But I was surprised.
Death Stranding.
I was surprised Death Stranding won Best Music. But then I was like, whoa, that ain't Hideo Kojima. He talks about like what he's wearing, and then out of nowhere, he just pulls off his face to reveal that he was actually Hideo Kojima the whole time. And I was like, does everything really have to be a surprise with this guy? I'm like, holy shit. I can only handle so many plot twists here, jeez. Then after another shot and another Final Fantasy VII trailer, we got the next award, which was the best fighting game. And I was pretty confident that Smash Bros was gonna get it. Like I couldn't really see Dead or Alive getting it or Mortal Kombat 11. So I was pretty confident. But then out of nowhere, this guy from EA comes up and just takes the trophy. And then he was like, oh yeah, I'm so proud of the work I did. Like I did all this work by myself, no help. We got Sakurai tied up in some pen, squeezing him for every single dollar we can. And then he was like, but I got an announcement to make.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is really more than just a fighting game. It's an experience that brings people together. It's also
Going to have microtransactions.
And then I was just sitting there and all I could think was like, wow, that's really something. And this is while I was playing Smash Bros. Like I had the Switch on my lap as he was making these announcements. And as I was playing, like my Switch just said, you gotta pay to keep on playing. But then out of nowhere, it just started raining for no reason. And keep in mind, I had the Switch in my hand. I was like, shit, what the fuck is going on? And this lady just starts singing out of nowhere. And everyone around me is still cheering. And all I could think was, and then the guy from EA comes back up again. And he's like, oh yeah, we got another game we want you to buy. Look at this. And I just sat there in awe because EA was playing some 4D shit or something, because now I gotta buy a Switch, the new Bravely Default, and all the microtransactions that come from Smash Bros. So after crying about my broken Switch, the room gets dark again, and then everybody just starts getting weird. They just start praying to like a bag of Doritos or something. And then the Dorito Pope just comes out and he's like, oh yeah, thanks for giving me money, you guys. And then that was pretty much it. What, you don't believe me? Okay, so maybe there was more, but I don't remember it too well, so I'll try my best. So I guess like midway through, they announced the new Xbox, but I think everybody forgot because they only gave the guy like 3 seconds for a speech, and it went a little something like this.
We still make games.
So then I was like 3 shots in, and yes, I know I'm a lightweight, but then this guy just started talking I guess he won best something, and he just started tearing Ninja. He's like, Epic likes me better. They let me use a name bot. What about you? What have you done? I see they don't ban people for you anymore. Huh, that's a shame. And then we got more ads. But then I guess like midway through the show, they forgot that they were actually like an award show. So they did like 3 back to back. And they also realized that they didn't give anything to Call of Duty. So they squeezed them in for best audio. They were like, yeah, it's okay. You can reuse the same sound effects every year. We don't care. We'll give it to you anyway. And then Fire Emblem also won. But I guess they don't get a trophy because the EA guy didn't come to pick it up. But then they also had the Content Creator of the Year. And I guess Shad won. But then this lady in her pajamas just came up on stage and just gave up this whole speech.
One of those like mean girl moments where I should like break it off and give it to everybody who actually deserves it, because I don't deserve this at all.
But it's okay because this officer just came up to her and told her that she was in the wrong award show. So 5 shots into the night then. They had the best art director, and the lady who was giving the award was like, oh yeah, we know your game didn't sell well, so we'll give you a consolation prize. And then they gave it to Control. And I was like, I guess. I didn't even play that game. But then they had the best action game. And the best action game was Devil May Cry. And I was surprised because this is like the first game that I actually guessed was right. But then the director for Devil May Cry 5 just started dancing out of nowhere. And it was like the craziest thing ever. And then I guess EA just started hacking the Game Awards or something. Because they did this like hacking thing. And then Mirage from Fortnite comes out of nowhere and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna win something, right? And the Dorito Pope was like, no. But then Ninja just comes up on stage, I assume. I don't know. I didn't see him. He was invisible or something. And he's like,
Best multiplayer game, Apex Legends.
but then it was getting to the end of the night and Reggie comes up on stage and he's like, I'm still relevant. So then he announces the best indie game. And the best indie game went to Disco Elysium. But then they were like, oh shit, we still have a shit ton of trophies to give out. So then they just gave them all to Disco Elysium. And then this Amazon of a woman just comes up on stage and is like, I make better games than you, yeah? And she's probably right because when I went to Steam, the game is actually doing pretty good, so props for them. But then Vin Diesel's sister comes out on stage and is like, I need an acting gig. And the only acting gig I know is Fast and Furious. So I brought Paul Walker back to life in the newest game, Need for Speed Mobile. And then Vin Diesel comes out on stage and he's like, hey guys, I'm back from living under my box. And he's like, you know, Paul Walker is gonna be in this new Need for Speed game. And everybody's like, we know! So then they just start rushing. And they're like, we're finally gonna announce the game of the year. And the game of the year was Seikiro Shadows Die Twice. So yeah, it was a logical choice. Everybody saw it. I don't think anybody was gonna disagree with that one. But then Norman Reedus just comes up on stage and just points at him. And he's like, I think that award belongs to us. And then, out of nowhere, Hideo Kojima just materializes right before our eyes. And he's like, get him. So then Norman Reedus just pulls out his bow and he just starts shooting at them. But then the developers of Seikiro just deflect the arrows with their swords. And then Elon Musk just stands up and he's like, that actually belongs to me. So then they just have like a 3-way fight. And that's all I remember. I don't know. That's just pretty much it. Yep. That's it.